Charlie Edgington, the pride of Perryville.
Thank you, Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Can you imagine, summer of 1999? Let's go back in time. I was a graduate student at the University of Kentucky, College of Agriculture. One day, bebopping down the hallway comes a good friend, Tracy Burton. He goes, "Charlie, do you want to make $1,000? As a graduate student, you get excited. Maybe $1,000. He goes, Danville, Kentucky, July the 25th, 1999. They're giving away $1,000 if we can win the Demolition Derby class in the Powder Puff." He goes, "My granddad's got a 1984 Ford Tempo. He goes $200. My mind just starts to roll as I'm thinking, wow, $200 minus 1,000 minus 200, $800 profit. Tracy, this looks promising. We start putting together a plan of how we can build a demolition derby car. The first thing we had to do, we had to secure the car. We traveled to Butler County, Kentucky, with a flatbed and a diesel truck to pick up that Ford Tempo. We had dinner with his grandparents. At the end of the night, I had to use some development tactics, Tracy's granddad, and seeing if he'd take $200 for that car, which he did. Boy, we were so excited as we were leaving with that demolition derby car in the making. On our trailer, we're headed back to Lexington. Tracy and I started talking. We got a car, but do we really know anything about the rules and regs of this demolition derby? Maybe we really did do our homework. I immediately got on the phone when we got back to Lexington. I got us a driver. My good friend Matthew Ellis. Matthew said, "Charlie, I've got access to everything you need. I've got the rules and regs. I got a shop. We can detail it. We can make it our demolition derby car." So we've got point one of the project taken care of. Matthew looked at me and says, "Charlie, it's going to take some additional money to get this car ready. Your job is to raise money for the sponsorships." So I went to everyone that we did business with on the farm, $50 here, $100 here, $20, $15, it didn't matter. We had sponsorships for our demolition derby car. Can you just imagine, we're going to take a 1984 Ford Tempo that is roadworthy, folks, roadworthy, 208,000 miles. And we're going to give it the hardest 100 miles of its life on its final leg. We got the car, we take it to Perryville, Kentucky, beat all the glass out of it, weld the doors shut, chain the bumpers on, no concrete in those bumpers, or any of these demolition derbies outlaws out there. We get that car ready to rock and roll. We paint it camo green. We put all our sponsorships on it. We get ready for that big date. I'm the car owner. I've got a crew chief in Tracy. I've got my driver in Matthew. Man, this is just like the legendary Dale Earnhardt Sr., Richard Childress, Jimmy Johnson and Jay Canals, my old friends Junior Johnson and Darrell Walker. We are ready, folks. We're ready. The date couldn't come any quicker. July the 25th rolled around just like the clock. 7 o'clock that evening, it's showtime for that $1,000 prize at the Danville Bull County Fairgrounds. We arrived at 5:30 with the car, a full lineup of spare tires, wrenches, and most important, 40 fans. The crowd that night would be in anticipation of probably 2,000 people at a gate ticket $6 a head. Back in 1999, the county fairs, demolition derby was at the peak of the pinnacle of folks wanting to see activity. Giving away $1,000 in a small class brought everyone out and their brother. We had what they call the drivers meeting. Matthew, myself, and Tracy, we rolled into that drivers meeting, which was not at the Hyatt. It was in the back of the fairgrounds. We started looking around. I looked over my shoulder to Matthew and I go, "Matthew, I don't think I really signed up for this." These folks had limited teeth. They had tattoos. They had no shirts on. This was definitely a different crowd than I was used to hanging out with. But I had a demolition derby car. There's $1,000 we were bound and determined to take home. I whispered to Tracy, I said, man, old Matthew's got good health insurance. But I did like my driver. At 7 o'clock, the first class is called, and we get an opportunity to pull into the activity. 8 cars. They put the concrete barrier back. They waved the red flag. I thought the green flag, and I told Matthew, make sure you do one thing. Full acceleration as soon as the green flag drops. He did that, but only for a matter of about 2 seconds. And he got scared. He let off the accelerator at about that time. The car from across the way comes barreling down at 40 miles an hour and ends up on top of my car. The Pride of Paracle has been submarined and pinned by another car from Mount Sterling. Matthew immediately breaks the flag. He gets scared. You can see all 4 tires on the car flat. The first heat is an absolute wash. But we get an opportunity for round 2. We fixed the car, hardest 15, 20 minutes I've ever worked in my life. Changed 4 tires. We had to do some work to the motor. Get this baby going again for the second heat. Just amazing. All the adrenaline and acceleration that we had as team members. That car brings back a lot of memories. I'm here to tell you that night I never got an opportunity to visit Victory Lane or Victory Circle. I didn't have an opportunity to get my $1,000. But we learned a lot that evening. That the old demolition derby car number 25, the Pride of Paracle, and all our sponsors, we put on a pretty good show that night. And at this time, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Green Line Implement, Equipment Sales and Rentals, Emerson Welding, Ag Credit, Corner Floor Covering, Barlow Farm Equipment, and the good friends at Sunrise Toastmasters. We put on a good show, but the best car didn't win that night. And I'm here to tell you that car lived 2 years at my farm in the dry cow lot and was played with by several cows. And 2 years later, it came back to life, and Matthew won some money with that old demolition derby car. Mr. Contact.